Big Men on Campus college basketball video or football video. Today we're taking a look at the Saturday card. It is Saturday, September 14th, 2019. Hope you're having a great day. It is early. It's week 3. We're getting in to college football here. We'll break down all the games, get to as many as we can here. We got about an hour, so always look forward to doing this show. Always excited to break all the games down with you. And try to find some value. I have a few plays out there already. Got to pick it up. Lost last night with North Carolina plus 3.5. Never had much of a shot to cover that game. Just how the game went. That's a bad read by me. They got down in the game, and it was just too many to really to cover. So it is what it is. Again, I want to make this very clear. Every time I do a show, I do these for free. I don't ask you to tail. Whether you tail, that's your business. I will, though, generally do very well with these picks. That one last night didn't win. It is what it is. But we will rock here. Hope you're having a good day so far. All right. I had to go set an alarm so I wouldn't miss this. Well, thank you, Brady. That's very nice of you. D from Detroit, John, Isaiah, what's happening? Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. You're instead of working, well, don't get fired, as they say. Melissa Glenn, welcome in. Do me a favor, guys. If you're on Twitter, please just retweet this. It's a great way to get it out to people that might not know it's on. If you're living under a rock and you're not watching this show on a Saturday, well, now you will, just because maybe you retweet it. So if you're on Twitter, retweet it. Be a real one. Retweet the show, and you will have my respect. All right. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Temple, Maryland. Okay. Well, yeah, I get to as many games as I can. We'll take questions a little bit later. All right, let's start it out here. We'll start first with Ohio State and Indiana. Ohio State obviously laying a pretty big number here at 17.5. And look, this is a tough spot for Ohio State. It's not that I don't think they'll win big, but Indiana's always seemingly had their number for whatever reason. They always play them tough. They always get a good game out of the Hoosiers. And, you look at kind of what Indiana's done this year, it's kind of tough to game plan because, they play 3 different quarterbacks. One of the concerns, though, in this game is one of the quarterbacks, Michael Penix Jr., is a game-time decision. Whether he plays or not is obviously in question. But you still have Peyton Ramsey, you still have Jack Tuttle. They're going to throw all they can at Ohio State here. Look, I don't love jumping in front of them right now. I mean, this is a Justin Fields who's playing at a very high level, hasn't thrown an interception. They're just kind of bowling teams over as they usually do. And I don't love the 3-quarterback system. I don't love the 2-quarterback system, to be really frank with you. I want that one solid quarterback that obviously can go out and get the job done here. As usual, Ohio State, I think, just has too much speed. Won't be a game I'm on. Just wanted to kind of touch on it. I was actually really impressed last week with Ohio State's complete destruction of what I think is a pretty good Cincinnati team, a team that can win the American Athletic Conference. That was impressive. Cincinnati was miserable. They continue to look like they're that dominating team again, Ohio State, and let that be a lesson to people that want to fade them like me or don't think highly of them like me. Whether it's Ryan Day, whether it's Urban Meyer, it really hasn't mattered. This has been impressive. I think Indiana maybe gives them a game for a little bit. But, look, if Penix was solid and in there, I'd have a little bit more faith in it. But, I don't know. I just don't really want to jump in front of Ohio State. I just think they're way more athletic, way better, way more speed. They're actually, as we speak, up to 18.5. So people coming in on the Buckeyes here, obviously. Kansas State, Mississippi State. Interesting game here. Tommy Stevens is probable for this game. He's going to play. He had an injury. And Kansas State, no one's really talked about this group because who they played? Middle Tennessee State, or not Middle Tennessee. They played Nicholls State. That's who it was. Nicholls State, and I don't even remember the other team they played. They played two nobodies as far as I remember. Oh, they played Bowling Green. That's right. And Bowling Green might as well be an FCS team because they stink. I talked in the offseason about Kansas State's new coach, Chris Kleiman. For anyone that doesn't know who their new coach is, he used to coach at North Dakota State. He was heads of those big programs up there with Carson Wentz and Easton Stick, all those national champion teams. And the talk around Manhattan this year was the culture that he's bringing there, the big game persona that he's able to go there and win. And you look at Kansas State. I think this is a great place for him to be. They bring in James Gilbert, a guy who played at Ball State. He's had a great start to the season, 8.4 yards a carry. And I've talked about it. This is a Mississippi State team that is vulnerable on defense. They were vulnerable against UL Lafayette. In certain parts of the game, they were vulnerable against Southern Miss. This is not a shutdown defense like it was last year. They just lost far too much talent. At Kansas State, here's what you also love about them. If I asked you who led the country in time of possession, would you think it's Kansas State? It is. 42 minutes of possession so far. This team sits on the football. They get going. They get first downs. They keep the chains moving. Obviously, it's can you win the turnover battle? And you look at last week, Southern Mississippi was not able to do that. Jack Abraham had one of those poor games that you don't expect him to have. This is a guy that has a completion percentage that's usually tops in the country. He didn't play well last week. If you are Kansas State, you cannot turn the football over. If you don't do that, I think you cover this game. To me, if I'm getting 7 points here, with that defense, I'm leaning towards K-State with the time of possession that they have. I considered this as a play. I didn't get the best number, and that's why for me I kind of avoided it. I think again, college football. A lot of the time when you're betting games, generally when you're betting favorites, it's best to get them early. You look at Joe Duffy, for instance. Him and I did a preview on Central Florida and Stanford on my channel. He was able to get 7 early in the week. This game's up to 8.5. So. Sometimes you have to just be able to say to yourself, you know what? I didn't get the best line. I'm going to move on. I think K-State throws a wrench here in. I think this is a fun game. 31-28, 34-28, something like that. I think K-State hangs in here and gets a cover. NC State, West Virginia. NC State laying 7 at Mountaineer Country. It's been ugly for West Virginia. This has been a totally different football team than what we're used to. Neil Brown has come in, and it's not been a fun ride so far offensively. They have really, really struggled. They're struggling even getting first downs. And this is a far cry from what that group once was under Dana Holgorsen. You look at through 2 games, this team is averaging 13.5 points a game, just 232 yards a game. And let's keep in mind as well, they played James Madison week 1. Now, look, I know the Dukes are a good football team, but if you're West Virginia, if you're a Power 5 football team, you need to do a little bit better against James Madison. This team didn't hit 300 yards in that game. And you look at last week against Missouri, what the hell happened last week? 7 points against Missouri. You only had 171 total yards. What the hell is going on with West Virginia? If I'm a Mountaineer fan, I'm real concerned about this group. I'm real concerned. And now you play a team today that, I don't love. I mean, NC State's not what they once were a few years ago, with some of those defensive lines they had and, Ryan Finley at quarterback. But, this is a West Virginia offense that just can't get out of its own way right now. And frankly, they can't even put drives together, let alone score points. You also look at the fact that this group, West Virginia, listen to this, guys. They've been in the red zone just one time this season. One time. And they failed to score points. Now, I know you're saying to me, well, big man, they've scored touchdowns. How have they not been in the red zone? Keep in mind, those have been longer touchdowns. They have not been able to sustain a drive and even get in the red zone in 2 games, one of which was against an FBS team or an FCS team. I'm sorry. You also look at per play, West Virginia. Okay, now these are teams that throughout this years, with Geno Smith and Clint Trickett and Will Greer, these are groups that are putting up 7 yards a play. Some games they're not even getting 3.75 yards a play, 3.72 yards per play this year for West Virginia. I wrote a blog about this on PulseSportsRadio.com yesterday, talking about some interesting tidbits I found. Country Roads has not been fair to Neil Brown in West Virginia so far. And I got some weird feeling today. You're going to hear some boos down in Morgantown. This offense looks bad right now. And, at any rate, you're asking me, well, what would I do here? I think this is a game to just realize, don't fall into these traps with West Virginia. This is a team right now that's really having trouble finding their way. All right, Maryland Temple, game of the week for a lot of people. A lot of people talking about this one. And as the weeks went on, I've looked more into Maryland. I've looked more to Temple. What do I like here? And if you're asking me, what do I think and what would I do in this game at this hour, at 11:12 Eastern, about 45 minutes before this game's going to start, if I had to play this game, I would take Temple University here. Because I'm just not someone that is going to fall into a trap like this. Look, was I impressed last week by Maryland? Of course I was. How could I not be? They put up 63 points up against Syracuse, a team that I actually had ranked top 25 starting to the season. They beat Howard week 1. Okay, listen, I could assemble 10 people right now, and I would play running back, and we would still score points against Howard. That's how bad the Bison are. They're the lowest of the low at the at the CS level. So again, I couldn't care less that they put up 79 points up against Howard. I just don't care about that. But this is a Temple team that I'm going to tell you right now, they are rugged, they are tough, and they are, as usual, very physical. They're in Philadelphia. This is the first true road game for Maryland. And this is a Rod Carey-led group that is going to hit you in the fucking mouth. They have a good group of receivers. They got a running back in Jagger Gardner that can run the football. Anthony Russo has turned into quite a good quarterback. And Temple on defense always is going to hit you in the fucking mouth. And that's something that Maryland hasn't had to deal with. You also ask yourself, the public loves the Terrapins. I like turtles. They love turtles this week. Yet the numbers went the other way. I remember at one point this number was 7.5. It's down to 5.5. Look, Maryland may win. Maryland may cover. But I'm not going to be on it. You better believe that. This is a spot where, to me, sometimes the numbers and the side just line up as they look more and more at this game. Keep in mind also, and I want to make this clear, Temple did not play last week. And in week 1, you know who they played? The Bucknell Bison. I'm going to go ahead and guess Rod Carey didn't have much of a game plan against that group. He's been studying this Maryland team for a long time. They had a bye last week. They were all over this. And what does Rod Carey do? What is he known to be at Northern Illinois? Slow it down, defend, hit you in the fucking head. That's what they do at Northern Illinois, and that's what they're going to do at Temple. This number just stinks to high heaven here. Am I running to the windows and betting max bets on Temple? No, I'm not. I just think you got to be careful here. I see a lot of people putting Maryland in a moneyline parlay. Temple's sneaky, man. Believe me, I know. I know this program. I know this school. I know Temple. So, worry. All right, guys. Let's check out the chat. I've just been oblivious to that. I've been looking at the games here. A lot of people asking about games. Listen, guys, I'm just kind of rolling right now. I'll get to questions later. what do I think Pitt can hang with Penn State? Yeah, I think Pitt can hang with Penn State. But here's the thing about Pittsburgh. Mark Whipple's the new offensive coordinator, right? So Mark Whipple loves to throw the football. He did it at UMass as a head coach, and he's doing it at Pittsburgh. I think that can keep them in this game. I don't love Penn State. I think last week they were a little bit exploited against a Buffalo team that I don't think is very good. So, yeah, I think they can hang. I think they can throw the football and stay in the game. Plus, I think if I'm looking at this game, I'm looking more towards the over. I think low 50s is just too low. Pittsburgh's going to throw the ball. Penn State, I don't know that they're not going to throw. I mean, Sean Clifford, he's had a lot of success as a quarterback with that group. And one thing we know about that fucking crumb James Franklin, he loves to run the score, especially against in-state opponents. So, yeah, if I had to play this, I'd probably look more over the total. Troy and Sandra watching at the vet office. We'll make sure you get your pup his necessary shots. What's up, Bet Abroad? We're not talking NFL. Okay, he said Buffalo Bulls with the 6. I disagree. I disagree on that one. And I'll get to that right now because you want to talk about it. Buffalo and Liberty. I disagree. I think Liberty is the side here. And I think a lot of people will say to me, you're crazy. Why are you getting involved with Liberty? This team stinks. They can't score points. Well, it looks like Hugh Freeze will be at least on the field for this game. He won't be up in a doctor's office or a nurse's or a hospital bed. He'll be out in the sidelines. And I just look at this game and I say to myself, I think Liberty's getting a little disrespected here. I know they haven't played well in the first 2 games of the season, but keep in mind, you look at, kind of who they've played in those games. You played Syracuse, who, is good. I know last week they didn't show up, but they're still a good Power 5 team. And UL Lafayette, who I think is one of the better G5 teams. So for me, this is a spot for Liberty where I think you almost say to yourself, okay, we're 0-2, but let's look at what we have coming up. And if I think this is such a big tipping off point for Liberty, and I want to make it clear why. If you win this game today at home, okay, you look at the games coming up. You get Hampton University. Shout out to the HBCUs, but they'll beat Hampton. Then they get New Mexico coming in. That's a long trip. New Mexico's terrible. Then you got to play New Mexico State. They're one of the worst teams in the country. You got Maine. They'll beat Maine. You got Rutgers. That's a winnable game, I think, for Liberty. Then you get UMass. I mean, this is, I think for me, if you're Liberty and you win this game, I think it's safe to say you can go bowling. You don't want to get too in over your head, but I think you need this game if you're Liberty. I think you have to have it, especially with the stretch coming up. This is such a big spot for the Liberty Flames. You have a quarterback that can move the ball. You have one of the better receivers no one knows about in Gandy Golden. This is a dangerous spot. For me, if I'm betting this game, and I mean this, I'm going to take Liberty money line. I don't care about the points. I don't want the points. Give me the money line. I think you win this football game. This is not a vintage Buffalo team. I'm going to say it again. I think they're overvalued last week because they hung around with Penn State. Here's the fucking problem, though. They lost the game. I don't care what they did in the first half. They didn't hang around. They ended up getting beat up 45-13. Why is Buffalo a 6-point favorite here? Tyree Jackson ain't walking through the door today. KJ Osborne at receiver ain't walking through the door. Khalil Mack ain't walking through the door either. So I say to you, Liberty, give me Liberty or give me fucking death. Liberty, 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 Liberty. So good luck with Buffalo. I'm on the other side. And that's why you wait to what I think before you make your play. Because I have a feeling, Steven, you're a little worried now about your pick on Buffalo. But I hate to say it. I think Liberty gets the win. All right. Let's go back to my thoughts on this card. I'm just going to go down the card here. Air Force Colorado This is an interesting game. How many people have you heard are on Air Force this week? A lot. You look at Colorado, right? Colorado off that big win against the Nebraska Cornhuskers, a game that I got to tell you, Colorado was impressive in. Mel Tucker was terrific, but that's Nebraska. That's what they do. They just lose games. They are allergic to covering. And this is your classic sandwich spot for Colorado. You start your Pac-12 calendar next week. You get a game on the road, and now you got to play rugged Air Force. And what do we know about this group, Air Force? Well, not a whole lot. They haven't played in a while. Okay, and that's the dangerous thing here if you are Air Force University or the Air Force. Let's just say the Air Force. You look at Colorado and what they have to do here, okay? So they're off a big win. They're off a big high. Pac-12 next week. This is a sandwich spot. Okay, right? Plus, it's a triple option team. A team you don't play the triple option much in the Pac-12. And you look at Air Force, had some time to prepare. They were off last week. And in week one, you know who they played? The Raiders of Colgate. Won that game 48-7. Again, we talked about it last week with Army. It is very difficult once the season starts, week to week, to prepare for the triple option. And here's also the problem. You have a team coming in Air Force that's had time to prepare against a team that's had no time to prepare in Colorado. Plus, they're off a big win. I'm real concerned if I'm Colorado today. This is a circle the game kind of game for Air Force. Outside of, the Navy and Air Force or Navy and Army games, these are ones you want to get. It's an in-state matchup. Colorado versus Colorado. And listen, I don't know about you, but I have a hard time betting against the military schools. I've talked about that for years. I love military schools. They're disciplined. They're focused. They don't make mistakes. And they're tough motherfuckers. They're bigger men than me. This one's down to 3. Here's one thing I'll tell you. I like the Air Force here. I'll side with everyone else. But here's what you have to realize with Air Force. If you're betting them right now, you're getting the worst number possible. And that's what sucks about this game. And that's what sucks about some of these low-key cards, because sometimes you miss games like this. And that's my fault. But I will say, so far, the 2 plays I do like Liberty. And I do like Air Force, both underdogs. I think this is a dangerous spot for Colorado. Is there Maryland news or something, or is there sharp money coming? I just explained it. If Maryland's so good, why does the spread only 7? I don't think the spread should be 7. I think that was a ridiculous number to begin with, and that's why they got beaten up here. It's a bad number. I want to make this clear. This is the best college football show in the country for sports betting. If you think there's one better, you should go listen to it. I know there's another show on during mine. You got me, you got them. It's your call what you want to do. Unfortunately, I had this channel first, or the show first, and we're on at the same time. I get someone DMing me about that. Nothing I can do about it. I put out the content that I enjoy. I try to, get people to check it out. But we got plenty of people in here, and I thank all of you for being here. So do me a favor, hit the retweet button on Twitter, so people know we're on. And you know what? That's one of the irritating things about other channels. There's just not enough. There's not enough respect for other channels. They're threatened by certain things, and other channels put their stuff on when I'm on. Because I've been able to produce 700-800 live viewers on this channel before, just talking about college basketball. So retweet it, let people know we're on. Usually we're getting 400 or 500 people in here, which, is what it is. People would rather go listen to listeners break games down. No offense to listeners. I love listeners, but I think when you're looking at sports betting content, you need to find people that have done it for years. They put in content out for years. Look, I love Drew Martin and Ian Cameron. I have more of a problem with, I think that us three should be on together. And that's where, we have to think more about a team, putting our heads together and saying, you know what, we all love this. Let's get the band back together, or whatever. But you know what? We're doing it on our own here. And that's why I like to do what I'm doing. Right now, I'm on my own and I'm doing my thing. So shout out. And I want to shout out all the people that watch this show and watch the other shows I'm having, the content I'm putting out. It means a lot. So keep supporting, keep checking everything out. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. Thank you, Troy. Let's keep it moving here. What else do I like? USC BYU. That's an interesting game. I like the doggy here. Home dog. USC first road game this season. JT Daniels is out. You got Slovis in. It's a tough defense to face. One thing we know about BYU: always hard-nosed on defense. Always play well on that side of the football. And you might say they have a quarterback for one, Zach Wilson. I know he didn't prove it in week 1, but this is not Utah. Okay? USC and Utah are two way different football teams. This ain't Utah. This is USC on the road. By the way, USC over the last 3 seasons, 9-19 against the spread. Not good. Problem is, BYU's not been too good in the underdog role and against the spread at home. I worry about Slovis in this game. It's a tough defense to play, but he's going to be tested. This is a pass offense that ran all over Stanford last week. I'm not getting involved with this one. Spread seems just a little too low. I'm not getting enough points here. Did you get fired by SBR? No. I have no issues with SBR. I do a show on Sunday on SBR with Donnie Wrightside. I just wish that we could coordinate. And then look, they don't owe me anything. I just, I look at the listener at the end of the day and say, it should be cool to get multiple opinions and not have to fight because both are on at the same time. It takes away from both broadcasts, in my opinion. So, but again, I don't run things over there. Hopefully, they realize that and again, it is what it is. There's only certain times we can do these shows. So, you got to do them when you can do them. And right now is kind of the time to do it. So it is what it is. All right. Let's keep it moving here. Georgia Southern, Minnesota. This is on my card. I took Minnesota at 16.5. And I think it's a great spot for the Golden Gophers to really kind of let their hair down and blow out a bad team. They haven't been able to do that so far. They've had 2 tough games, South Dakota State and Fresno. Won both games, but had some trouble with them. I think this is where they can let their hair down and just play Minnesota football. I don't think they have any trouble moving the ball. And you look at Minnesota, great run game with Ibrahim and Rodney Smith. And they also have a quarterback in Tanner Morgan who's been winging it all around. He's been great at quarterback for Minnesota, and that's what makes flex team dangerous at home here. You get a Georgia Southern team that has been horrific in the pass defense area. They have not had any success shutting anyone down. You look at last week for Georgia Southern, they led 307 passing yards to Maine. You look at through 2 games, they've allowed 657 passing yards in 2 games. Not good. And this offense has really bogged down. They're going to be without their quarterback today, Shea Wirtz, who is going to probably be out another game with a shoulder injury. Justin Tomlin will be the quarterback. And this is a Minnesota defense that is really good. I don't think they have a ton of trouble here with a really bad offense. This is an offense that can't move the football. I think Minnesota, as I keep saying, I think they let their hair down here. I think they run away with this one. 38-17, something like that. I think they cover the number here with ease. I think it's a nice spot for Minnesota, and that's hence the reason why I bet it. All right, let's go to another game here. Michigan State and Arizona State. Not a lot of people know this, and I'm going to blow your mind right now if you're out there listening. Minnesota, or not Minnesota, Michigan State. You know how many yards they've allowed run defense-wise? Opponents have ran for -6 yards against Michigan State. Yes, you heard that right. Through 2 games, they have not allowed positive total rushing. Crazy. On average. Crazy. This defense is nasty. And here's my concern if I'm Arizona State today. First of all, you got to go to Michigan State, which is very difficult. It's a Big 12 or Big 10 team. It's a really good defense. It's a tough atmosphere. You got a good quarterback from Michigan State. Not only got to do that, but you got to go there with a freshman quarterback. And you got to go there with a team that is generally dead set on establishing the run in Arizona State. I like Benjamin. I think he's a good player. But this is a tall order to play today in Michigan State. This is a team that has been downright unbelievable running the football or against running the football. And no offense to Arizona State, but they haven't really been that impressive this season. I mean, they played Kent State and Sacramento State. Keep in mind, against Sacramento State, if not for a big fourth quarter, they have trouble winning that game. Against the Hornets of Sacramento State. I have real concerns about how many points they can even score in this game. Michigan State is real, man. They are really real, and they are really good. I'd lay the number if I had to here. Illinois EMU. I have no read on that game. Illinois, I think I'm just going to kind of let do their thing for a little bit. Illinois last week really kind of, I thought was they had an odd performance. I don't know. I don't know what that defense is. But then again, EMU's not great. Here's the problem with Illinois this week, though. EMU's always very good against the spread. Chris Creighton's been a good coach in an underdog role. They have a solid running game, a quarterback that's starting to come into his own a little bit, and Mike Glass. I didn't see a lot from Illinois last week defensively to warrant being 7-point favorites. Problem is, they're at home here. They are a Big Ten team. But here's a little tidbit that I want to throw out on Eastern Michigan. I mentioned how good their coach is against the spread as a dog. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Over the last 3 seasons, the Eastern Michigan Eagles are 11-4 against the spread as a dog and 9-2 as a road underdog. Also throw in the fact 4-1 as a road underdog of 7 points or less, winning 2 of them straight up. This is another case to me of why are they favored by 7 points? We saw it in Buffalo. They're 6-point favorites against Liberty. Why? Look, I like Illinois. I think Brandon Peters is starting to look like a really solid quarterback for them. I just don't know if this defense is good enough. I was really concerned with their output last week. They gave up a lot of yards to Connecticut, particularly in the passing game. So that was a kind of a concern. They turned the ball over too much. Third straight road game for EMU. Yeah, listen, James, seems like you have your eye set on what you like. So I would just go with what you think. I seems like you like Illinois. I'm just not really sure about it. So, and it's a revenge spot. ASU came back to meet MSU last. That's true. Good point. Great call by you. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. Always appreciate it. Thank you. And thanks for watching. All right, we got, 11:35. So we got about 20 minutes or so. Got plenty of time here. Good. Wolves scored. Well, that's good. That makes the brunt a little bit better in Premier League. I wouldn't mind Burnley with a late goal. That'd be nice. Maybe Leicester as well. But doesn't look like a great week in Premier League so far. But Burnley could fix that all with a late goal. That would be real nice. Rotherham is. Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you right now. If I can just get on soccer for just a second. Right now, and I want to give you the gift that keeps on giving because you got to get on it if you're out there. There's a team in League One named Bolton Wanderers, okay? Let me tell you something quickly about Bolton. They were, about 2 weeks ago, near extinction. They were going to go broke. They were in debt. They were rescued at the final hour before their club disintegrated. They were picked up and bought. This team has players that are nowhere near ready to play at these levels. They're awful. They're a National League team in League One. You look at through 6 games, this team allowed 6 goals again today. They've given up 24 goals in 6 games, and they've only scored 1 time. This team is horrible. They are really, really bad. They don't belong on this field. They just don't belong. So right now I'm telling you, fade Bolton. They keep throwing them out. I'm going to keep betting them. Ipswich and Exeter. Ipswich is how are they a disaster? It's 0-0. They can score late. We'll see what happens. Do you like Hawaii with 21.5 today? No, I don't. I like the over in that game, though. Think Hawaii can score. I don't think they, can really ever be held down. They have a great receiving core. Should be able to get to 20, I'd imagine. And I think Washington is no trouble. I mean, Hawaii's not going to put up much, especially in Washington. I think Hawaii's going to struggle on defense all season. I think if it totals below 60 here, I think it's a bit too low. Let's keep it moving here. What else do I like? Oh, yeah. Oklahoma State and Tulsa. Always a tough game for Oklahoma State or Oklahoma, whoever it is, because Tulsa's an in-state matchup. Tulsa's a team that is always play hard. They always play hard. They always give you their all. They're always pretty good defensively. And, it is dangerous to step in front of Oklahoma State. But what I've learned about Tulsa over the last couple seasons is they are much improved on defense. They can handle good offenses. Can they handle this offense? I'm not so sure. Plus, I don't know if I'm getting enough points to be interested here. I like Oak State, but we have to remember they also have trouble defensively. Are they sleepwalking in this game a little bit? Looking forward to the Big 12 conference getting going next week. Probably not going to step in front of Oak State, but Tulsa always gives you a pretty good effort. So just keep that in mind. Plus, Zach Smith, quarterback at Tulsa, played at Baylor. He knows how to play Big 12 teams. He can move the football. I'm not just laying up on Oak State this week. Just keep that in mind. This is a team that always plays hard. I already talked about the K-State game. That was like the first game I talked about. Florida -9 at Kentucky. I'd rather go to sleep than watch that. I'd rather go to sleep than watch that game. I couldn't care less about Florida, Kentucky. That is about as boring SEC crap as I could get. I hate Felipe Franks. I don't like Terry Wilson. I don't like much of anything about Kentucky, and I don't like much about Florida either. So, under maybe. I just don't care much about that game. Iowa State. This is a big game out in Ames. And look, I hate to say it, but maybe I told you so here with Iowa State. A lot of people just assume this team would challenge in the Big 12 because they had Brock Purdy coming back. Keep in mind, they lost Montgomery and Hakeem Butler, two of their best offensive players in that program's history. And they've struggled out of the gate, struggled against Northern Iowa. And now they're getting a hard-nosed Iowa team that's always tough. I don't believe in Iowa State. They are at home here, and I give them the respect there. But they're an underdog still. There's a reason for that. Iowa's a better football team than they are. I think Kirk Ferentz schools the young guy today. I lean Iowa here. They've always been good in the road favorite role under Ferentz. Kind of underrated, actually. 12-6 over the last 18 is a favorite. Good thing about Iowa State is they've been very good as a dog. But I like Nathan Stanley. I think he's better than people think. And I just kind of like some of the weapons that Iowa has a little bit more than what Iowa State has. I think Iowa State's overrated. I thought they were overrated coming into the season, and they look to be overrated here. Ben G. just keeps saying Vols. What about them? You don't want me to start talking about Tennessee because I'll embarrass you, and I'll embarrass that program. You don't want me to do that. Tennessee is a laughable football program. Laughable. Their fans are the most delusional people on earth. Their team constantly is overrated. Their coach is a complete imbecile. And they suck. They fucking stink. You don't want to get me talking about Tennessee. They're the most overrated program on earth. They're lovable losers that never win anything, that haven't won in 20 years, yet they think they're Alabama or Clemson. Here's one fucking problem. You don't win. You've won 6 bowl games in 20 years. Fuck yourselves, Tennessee, you clowns. Guarantano will be a Heisman candidate next year. Yeah. And I'll be dating Kim Kardashian at 170 pounds next year. Give me a fucking break. Heisman candidate. Hey, Donnie, let me know if you want to join. I'll send you a link. Get you in here for a quick couple minutes. Does Air Force win outright today? I think they can. Talked about it earlier. So, yeah, if you're a Tennessee fan, your middle name's Pride Delusional, and your fan base's picture is next to delusional in the dictionary. So, sucks to be you. Oh, yeah, you played Chattanooga today, by the way. Should win that game. It's like playing Connecticut School of the Blind or fucking DeVry University. Finally get a win, Tennessee. And I'm sure their fans will act like it's Alabama that they beat. Chattanooga. What a joke. Syracuse Clemson thoughts. I have not many. The only thought I have would be that if you made me bet the game, I'd probably take the points. I just think it's a lot. I think Syracuse is undervalued after last week. And they always play Clemson tough. But this Clemson team is special, so I don't usually get involved with these Clemson Alabamas against someone else. I don't really. They're not really my wavelength. All right, let's keep going here. We got about 12 minutes. I like to get off here around 55. So let me just kind of rapid fire some of these. North Texas, California. That's an interesting game. Cal coming off a big win against Washington. Could be a little bit of a letdown game here against the mean green of North Texas. And I'll tell you right now, you don't want a letdown game against North Texas. They have a good quarterback in Mason Fine. And, they're a dangerous team getting 2 touchdowns here. So, if you're out there and you're thinking, Cal's got a good defense. Here's the thing, though. Cal's got a good defense, and they could really bog down North Texas, which is I totally get. But, again, this is a tough game off of a big win. It's kind of a letdown right before the Pac-12 season starts. What else here? Saw a lot of people like the over in Western Michigan, Georgia State. Western Michigan seems like they have no interest in playing defense. And they can score, get a good quarterback, get a good group of running backs. That could be a game where that just turns fun quick. One of those wild games. Georgia State's going to oblige to go quick. They have no trouble doing that. They have a quarterback in Dan Ellington who pretty good spread quarterback. So that could be a fun game. Texas State, they've been a team that's kind of been on my shit list. There's no team that's thrown the football more through 2 games than Texas State, surprisingly enough. They've thrown the ball more than anyone else. Their pass percentage is the highest in the country. Problem is, it's not translating into points. And what's so wild about them is they just bogged down in the red zone. Did it last week. Actually, we're up 17-3 at one point against Wyoming. I had them getting 7. They ended up losing and not covering, lost by 9. Texas State is a team right now that's just, I don't think, got much of an identity on offense. They can't put the ball in the end zone, and it's going to get tougher today. Texas State is just a weird team right now. If they can find a way to start scoring touchdowns, look, if they can do that today, I'll tell you right now, they're a live dog in this game. But I just don't trust these fucks to score. They keep bogging down in the red zone. I like their offense. I like their quarterback, but they just can't fucking score points, Texas State. Maybe they come to play today in a game in Texas. Duke, Middle Tennessee. Scott Van Pelt mentioned this is a tough game for Duke, and I agree. I don't like their quarterback at all. Quentin Harris, I don't think he's any good. In Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro, always tough. Asher O'Hara, good quarterback, good player. Watch out. A lot of dogs barking today, I get a feeling. A lot of doggies barking today. I took over 52.5 in TCU Purdue. Got the best number. I got the best number in this game. Let me say it again. I got the best number in TCU Purdue. Give me a fucking cookie because I got CLV. Now I need it to cash. And I think we're going to have the pace here. Purdue gets Sindelar back. They love to throw the football. They're going to test a TCU defense that's a little hobbled, okay? And this is a Purdue defense that I don't think can stop anybody. And shout out to my guy, Max Dugan, 4-star quarterback for TCU. I think he's one of the best players they've had there in the last 10 years and will be. I think he's a Dravon Boykin type of hype quarterback. This should be a fun game. Total is a little too low. I thought it'd be 55-56. We got 52.5. This was an auto bet for me. Over 52.5. It's 53.5 now. I'd still bet it over TCU Purdue. Those are my 2 plays that I have on my card right now. TCU Purdue over, Minnesota minus the points. Free plays, some thoughts as well. I like Liberty. Give me Liberty or give me Death. I like that one. +6. I think they win the game. A couple other thoughts here. I did a game with Ian Cameron, Florida State, Virginia. If you want my preview and his thoughts, go watch my video on my channel after the show ends. We did a interesting breakdown for that game. That's down to 7. Public looking to start to come in on Florida State. They don't buy Virginia. This is a big game for Virginia, though. They're better than Florida State. Defensively, Florida State is shocking. Bryce Perkins could be a big game for him. He needs it. Nebraska laying a big number against a gutsy Northern Illinois team. Raise your hand if you want to lay 14 at Nebraska. Won't see any hands raised in these parts. Oklahoma, UCLA, big number for the Sooners here. Chip Kelly says, don't get mad. Nothing wrong up in Westwood. I disagree. I do also think this total's too high. Let me say that again. I think the total in Oklahoma is too high. I know, it's scary, but UCLA, their quarterback sucks, and their defense, I think, is a bit better. If I'm Oklahoma today, you need to go out and play well here. You got to. Play like you did in the first half against Houston. Turn this kid over. Play good today, Oklahoma. This is a test for you. Fast offense. It's going to go quick. They're going to test you a little bit. Play good today, Oklahoma, on defense. That's what I'm going to be looking for. That's what I'm going to have my eye on. And I do think 72 is a bit high. I would have rather priced this at like 66, 67. And that's where, to me, I think would have been a better number. 72, I think it's too high. But not a game I'm going to be on. Texas Rice. Joe Duffy made a case for Rice in my video. If you want to go watch it, you can check it out on my channel. That's what we're doing. We're bringing handicappers on. We're getting opinions. We're putting our heads together here. He liked Rice. He got 31.5. He made a case. Good spot for Rice here at home. I don't disagree. I think this program, there's a little bit of a pep in their step, if you will. I think Tom Stewart might be a better quarterback than Wiley Green. Hopefully Wiley's okay. I just think Tom's a better quarterback right now for this offense. And Texas defense, a little bit vulnerable. Let's do one more. Texas Tech, Arizona. I just want to tell you guys quickly about Arizona's defense, okay? They're giving up 436 yards a game through the air. Keep in mind, they played Hawaii, which makes sense, but they gave up a big boatload of yards against Northern Arizona. What the hell is the excuse there? They've given up 86 points in 2 games, and this team stinks defensively. Now you have one of the better passing offenses coming in this game. You always have that game every week that's like the stone cold over. Could be this one. Arizona has shown no sense of defense. And these offenses are going to go pretty quick. You had 2 good quarterbacks. Could be a duel here out in the desert. Late night. Overlooks pretty good here. Texas Tech and Arizona. We'll see. I will say I like Texas Tech team total over. Arizona cannot fucking defend anybody. Oh, my God. Burnley scored? No way. Burnley scored. Give me that draw, motherfucker. Yeah! Bang! Good shit, Burnley. Get in, Jeff Hendrick. Get in. Yes, cuz. Come on, fam. I got my fucking accent now. Come on, blood. Yes, fam. Woo! Woo! I didn't see that. Yes. Come on, blood. Come on, fam. By the way, Top Boy is back on Netflix. They don't pay me to promote them, but I will. You guys know I know my gritty crime dramas. Top Boy is the best show on television. And it's not even on television. Get Top Boy and watch it. Before you do, I want to tell you about it. First 2 seasons, it was a miniseries back in 2012, 2013. The show was stopped. They cut it. Drake, yes, the rapper Drake, loved it. He revived it. It's back. Top Boy is the best show on TV. Mark my words. Just saying. It has a Wire feel to it. And you guys know I love The Wire. It is the Wire of England. That's what it is. And that's why you need to go watch it. Give it the respect. It's that good. Every season is on Netflix. It was a mini series. It was like 6 episodes or 4 episodes, something like that. It was cut off for 5 years. It just got brought back out. Season 3 is back out. And what's great about it, a lot of the same characters are in it. You have to watch the first Top Boy before you watch the new one? Yes, I would highly recommend it. Because a lot of the same characters are in the second one. And you have to understand who Duchesne is. You got to understand who Sully is. You got to understand who Jem is. Because there's characters in the new season 3 that were younger in season 1 and 2 that are important to the series. So yes, you have to watch Top Boy Summer House first. But it is unbelievable. It is so good. I love the show. It's one of my favorites. And I got a feeling by the end of the series, it will be a top 5 show for me. It's that good. Did I watch? I already talked about Tulsa. Mr. Dave, where you been, pal? You leaving the chat and coming back. You got to stick with me here. So there you go. I went over loads of games. Did it for free. Didn't ask for anything. So there you go. Have fun. Job done. I'm out of here. And how about Exeter? They scored late. Too bad they gave up 2 goals. It ain't going to matter. There still are a couple minutes left, though. Maybe Exeter can find a winner here. That would be nice, right? They have the ball. 3 minutes to go. And they're attacking. Too bad they gave up too many goals. But, all right, I'm out of here. You guys enjoy your day. Thanks for watching. Thanks all of you for coming on. Tomorrow, I'll be on SBR. Donnie and I will be going over week 2 in the NFL. We had a great show last week. And see what happens when there's no other shows on. We get tons of viewers. We need to bring ourselves together instead of fighting. That's what we need to do. That's what we did last week, and we got a ton of people. So check that out tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern on SBR. You'll enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy college football. I'll be back next week, week 4 in college football. Have a great day. Where's my exit button? Where is my exit button?